Hotspots include Nairobi, Kisumu, Mombasa, Nakuru, Wasigishu, Baringo, West Pokot, among others. KNHCR has added that this list in Kitui, Machakos, and Busia. In studio this morning to help us out, have this delicate conversation, we have the Vice Chair, Irene Wanyoike, nominated Member of Parliament, Isaac Mwaura, and Onyango Law, who is the NASA campaign spokesperson. Lady and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this morning. Let me start with you, Vice Chair Irene Wanyoike. And this is, first of all, just to get an idea of how badly we are doing, if at all we're doing badly, in terms of getting closer to 2007 as we speak.
Let me put it, let me correct you. It's not that we are worse or getting near to 2007. No. What we are trying to say is this. There are things that are happening in the country. There's a lot of political rhetoric, and which is very, very dangerous. But that does not mean we are at war or we are going to war. That does not mean that. Because I know there are measures that have been put in place to stop whatever is happening. But what we are saying is we are raising the flag. We are saying if unattended, what is happening, if it is unattended, if we don't do the right thing, violence will erupt. But I'm here to assure Kenyans that there will be no violence, and anybody who tries to cause violence will be apprehended. I'm saying this with a lot of, I'm convinced because I know there are measures that have been put in place by the security, security agencies, and you saw the IG. And the IG, we have had meetings. We are working as a group. We give them information, we share information, and I know what has been put in place.
All right.
To stop whatever is happening. Yes, we have raised the red flag. Potential is there, the risk is there, but I can assure you, it will be dealt with if it comes. We are nowhere near 2007.
All right.
I can tell you that.
Sometimes the risk that we have is that we go through this with a very broad brush, and we say that there is political rhetoric. Do we have specifics? Do we have ideas that we can say, here we need to rein in, this particular area we need to look at? Or this politician?
Without naming names, I can tell you we have been on the ground. We have been in Migori, we have been in Uasin Gishu, we have been in Mombasa. And we are there even now. We are in Mandela, even as we talk. In Nakuru, we have been to those places. And let me put it very, very candidly. We are using all means to stop the political rhetoric. We are engaging the leaders directly. We are going to those places and we are engaging them directly, one-on-one.
So we don't have specifics that we can say, look, this is an area where we have concerns.
I've just mentioned we had our own concerns.
You mentioned the areas, but when we talk about political rhetoric, we're talking about people who are speaking, not just areas.
It has been in the media. You have seen what has been happening a few weeks ago in Uasin Gishu. You have seen the violence in Migori the other day. You have heard what is happening in Mombasa. There are criminal gangs. I mean, it's there in the media, and we are dealing with it, I can tell you.
All right.
I have mentioned the places, and there are many.
Onyango Law, are you convinced that we possibly are having political rhetoric that could put us in a dangerous position as a country?
Mike, if I had a chance to appoint someone as the top diplomat of this country, I would give my sister Irene to be the top diplomat of this country for being able to sound in very diplomatic language and otherwise alarming state of the nation. To say that they have raised the flag, and to say again, we are not in that stage that we were in 2007, is a very subtle contradiction that leaves you actually where you started your question. We have not moved a step. Let me put it this way. To me, Kenya is at the brink of a full-fledged confrontation. We are at the stage where we were in 2007, if not worse. Secondly, the drums of war have been sounded. They have been sounded by the politicians, but the person who has sounded the biggest drum plus the tambourines is one institution, IEBC. The politicians have antagonized each other because each of them and each side wants to win the elections. IEBC has got a single highest level of putting integrity into the process, because the lack of integrity causes suspicion. With suspicion, even those who lose fairly will always find an excuse why they have lost. So, to me, the drums have been sounded as rightfully as Irene says. The flags they have raised. But IBC continues to cast aspersions on the integrity of this process. One, you know we are even in court over Al Ghurair issues. So a very big portion of this country, NASA Brigade, we are saying we have no confidence in the ballot printing issues. Number two, there was the manual process that was bulldozed. To date, IBC has not presented us with the regulations on how the manual system will be used in the event it was being used. So these things are causing tensions, plus many, many more. So what am I saying? I am saying that things continuing the way they are, whether it is the opposition or it is the government that wins the day, the other party will say, didn't we tell you these guys have rigged us out? And who knows? And this time, Mike, I would say with no fear of contradictions whatsoever, if ICC comes knocking, we will tell them to go straight to Chebukati and Chiloba first before they come for the politicians.
All right. Honorable Maura, wow, submission right there. Do you agree with Honorable Onyango Olo that there are drumbeats of war that are being sounded? And, well, I don't know if you agree with him that it's mainly IEBC that's beating the loudest, or is it politicians, yourselves?
Politicians.
Thank you very much. I think it's quite telling that listening from what the ODM side of the political divide is saying and the actions that have been taken, including delegitimating the IEBC, trying to show that there is a crisis and manufacturing such crisis. The ODM side of the political divide is the one that actually has, that challenge. In fact, I would want to give a thumbs up to Wafula Chebukati, because his commission has done what it needs to do within a very limited time. I mean, I'm aware that even they are not even going on weekends because they have to work, overtime. Reason being, we were advised by Johan Kriegler that we should have a commission at least 15 months before elections. People went to the streets, they demonstrated, Mike. Now the crisis is precipitated, it's very well choreographed, it's very well designed, ab initio, as to ensure that the credibility of the elections is questioned. And that tells you, in a free and a fair contest, where there are no, gerrymandering and these shenanigans that we are seeing, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta will beat Raila Odinga hands down. So you must manufacture a crisis for you to actually, justify that elections were unfair. And when I listen to my brother Onyango Olo saying that in a contest where even those people who have lost fairly, they would blame somebody, basically then therefore it follows that the issue of IEBC is just a scapegoat as to justify certain ends that people have already preconceived.
Well, I think just to be fair, it is true that when it is not free and fair, or perceived to be free and fair, then even those who lose, regardless of who it is, they would have a reason. But are you saying that then some of the concerns raised by NASA are not valid? For example, we have the voter register, which has brought issues. We still have an issue wondering or, with questions as to why some of the dead voters are still in the register. Are you saying those are not legitimate concerns?
I think let's first say the truth that you cannot apportion dead voters to one side of the political equation. I don't think there's a register somewhere which says that people who should die should be from Jubilee or ODM. And it's also not true.
The issue is in the credibility of the voter register.
Let me explain that. And the issue also is not to say that every adult who dies is therefore a voter. Those are issues. But then when you also want to bastardize the IEBC system, even sending wrong messages and starting a smear campaign in social media, it is a very well choreographed, information. It's actually aimed at. I do not want to imagine, for example, that when you are supposed to go to court. You go to court about Al Ghurair. The tender is not stopped. You make submissions that are not are at variance actually with your complaints. When you are told to come and make your pleadings, you actually defer. You say we need more time. It's a delay mechanism. And I do not want to say for sure that these things are baseless, but indeed they are baseless anyway.
All right. I'll come to you, Commissioner, but let me hear from Onyango Olof, because you've been...
It is extremely unfortunate that my brother Mwaura, an honorable member of parliament who has participated in the making of the laws in the recent past, would brazenly advance a position in a public auditorium like this that he knows are not tenable in law or in politics. Number one, let us now go step by step. Are you aware that when the manual registration was reintroduced, a voting process was reintroduced in Parliament, there was a rider that IEBC would put in place regulations that would determine or would regulate how it was going to be used? I suppose you are aware because you're in Parliament. Are you further aware that to date they have not put in place the mechanisms or the regulations that are supposed to determine how that system is going to be used? Number two, are you aware, Honorable Isaac Mwaura, as we are talking to date, that the KPMG audit report or the audit of the process that the public used their money has not been made available to either side of the divide? Are you further aware that not even the challenges they have faced, therefore, have been placed in the public domain? We are not even blaming Jubilee. We are blaming the integrity of the process, and the duty bearer is none other than IEBC. My brother, why are you behaving like a guilty person already?
Let me come to you, Commissioner Irene Wanyoike. And
yes.
There is something you mentioned there under your breath when I asked the question, is it really IEBC that is beating the drums of politicians? What was your remark?
Let me say IEBC has to do their work. But there's one thing that I'm sure of, that IEBC has been engaging these two people, Jubilee and CORD. They have been having meetings inside the boardroom of IEBC. They have been asking questions, and I'm aware, and this is the truth, that Chebukati has been engaging the political divide. They have been going there. But politicians will always be politicians. And to me, the advice I would give Chebukati is this. Once you engage the two political divides, please make sure you issue a statement when they are there, you issue together. Because the minute politicians leave IEBC, they go out there. What they do, that each says this and the other one says that. So for me, from now on, and I have said this before, it is engaging the both political divide and coming out with all of them and issuing a statement on what they have discussed. Because we will never know the truth. When you discuss with them, and then Jubilee goes and holds a press conference, CORD goes and calls for a press conference. We will never know the truth.
All right.
So for me, it is engagement on almost, weekly basis. We have only 4 weeks. Engage them, and show them the process, what you are doing. Information is power.
I'm sure it is not a lack of knowing what the process is, Commissioner, but now the National Cohesion and Integration Commission.
Yes.
National Cohesion.
And integration.
What are you able to do to bring these two together? Because at the end of the day, you mentioned under your breath that it's the politicians who possibly are playing the loudest tune of war.
My brother, you know who is actually drumming those, the drums are there. And you know who is doing it. It's actually...
Well, I have you here to help us out because I may know, but...
I'm helping you.
Yeah.
Look at the headlines. The way they are talking, it's careless talk. And I'll repeat this. What the politicians are doing is they are talking carelessly. And as leaders, Kenyans are listening to them. And what they say, it is the truth. When they lie, they are the leaders, it becomes the truth to the mwananchi on the ground. When they say that they will not accept leagued elections, the mwananchi on the ground picks that. Oh, there is a plan to league, so we will not accept. Whatever, as a politician, as a leader, you say, please know that the mwananchi on the ground takes it as the gospel truth.
All right.
And I want to say this. We have engaged politicians on one-on-one because even as the court cases are going on, because we have many court cases, we are engaging them and trying to remind them this country is our country. And the way you are talking, and it is only 4 weeks, there is tension already on the ground.
Commissioner,
People are wondering.
Let me ask you, is NCIC able to do anything, or are they just going to sit back like every other Kenyan and wait for fate to happen?
We are not sitting back.
What are you doing?
I have told you we have been to Uasin Gishu. We have talked to the leaders directly, and you have seen even the leaders coming and saying, we are going now to campaign peacefully. We have been to Kisumu, and even right now, if you see the papers, we are in Kisumu, where there was a lot of violence, and he can tell you, he was there. And we are engaging the youth, the leaders there, one-on-one. Another group is in the coast, engaging the leadership and the mwananchi one-on-one. We are doing everything possible.
Honorable
and I also want to assure you.
No, I think I need to respond to...
Wait, you're going to assure me on something. Let's hear, then I come to you.
Yes, I'm assuring you that we are working together as a multi-sector. We are a big group. We are working with the IG very directly. We are sharing information. We are sharing information with IEBC. We are sharing information with the DPP. And Mwaura, let me tell you, we are on it. And I know a few reports will be there, maybe, but it will be stopped.
All right.
It will be stopped. I can tell you.
I don't know, Commissioner Irene Wanyoike, what assurance she can give us, and yet she's just leaving her job a day after elections. I don't know how credible is her assertions, because she seems to be reading from a different script from me when I look at Onyango Law here, who is saying that we are already guilty. He's trying to insinuate that already the election is stolen. And that is the mantra. That is what they are pushing in the minds of their supporters, saying they already have counted the votes, they already have 10 millions, they should be the ones declaring themselves winners, they should have their own tallying center, there should be 5 youth per polling station to cause chaos. Who is actually trying to cause this chaos? And we must be honest with Kenyans, because the ODM leadership, and I insist on ODM because there's nothing called NASA. You know, ODM is the one that has got the ticket for the elections. They have not come out clearly saying that they will concede defeat. They have not come out clearly saying, because I saw even some clips that are going on social media, somebody saying that the party leader should never accept defeat and should not come back to his supporters saying that it has been stolen. So clearly, even the celebration, you actually put people on a warpath. You are telling that when the apparatus that Irene is talking about, and I don't know how sure she can talk about that now that she's leaving the commission very soon. Now, let me explain. When they are trying to train to protect the country, Mike, then they are being told that they are being trained on how to rig. Well, that kind of indoctrination is a problem. That kind of radicalization is what is going to make this country go into war.
All right, Honorable Nyango Law, do you accept that politicians are being careless from all sides of the divide without necessarily referring to Jubilee or NASA or CORD? Are politicians being responsible?
Politicians are doing what they know best. They are playing politics. We have pumped billions of shillings into institutions that are meant to arbitrate or ensure that there is peace in this country.
To stop you from talking?
One of them is Irene's institution. Here, a whole commissioner, a vice chairperson of a commission entrusted with peacemaking in this country, comes, is given audience with the entire nation and the world, and she's feeble. She cannot tell you which politician has been sounding the war drums. What other environment do they need? She again goes ahead to tell you that Chebukati should now be announcing everything that Chebukati says with the political parties. Are you telling us we recruited an incompetent person who does not even know his job?
No.
I'll give you a chance, Madam Commissioner.
Okay. Thank you.
Are we talking about having hired incompetent people who do not know how to run the affairs of their various commissions? What I'm looking at, and I want you to get right, when you hear my brother Mwaura talk, you hear and feel a quintessential politician talking what he's just trained best to say that in the social media, some people are telling Raila not to accept defeat. How do you know they are Raila's supporters? How do you know they have not been planted even by the other side? What we have been saying, and I reiterate it clearly today, that the Al Ghurair thing is a scandal. The entire ballot issue is a scandal. That failure to provide regulations on the use of manual voter system itself is a scandal. We pay IEBC and they have got lawyers, and they should have brought those regulations for adoption by Parliament a long time. Number 3, when we say that IEBC must move a notch higher to build confidence, we have given them resources to do that. And no amount of passing the buck, no amount of excuse will make a rigged election appear to be a free and fair process. Let me finish this way. That if you are confident enough that Jubilee has the numbers, that Jubilee is going to win, why don't we have the umpire do what by law he's supposed to do? Then you can say, we did everything perfectly and you lost.
Is there anything they've done that is illegal so far?
They have not put regulations which the law told them to do, number 1. Number 2, when Al Ghurair is printing and there is a process in court, and having gotten the tender, when the tender itself in law was non-responsive, my brother, those are illegal activities.
All right. Let me take a call from James Omondi in Kisumu, then I'll come to you, Commissioner. I think there's some hard questions there that you need to answer. But let's go to Kisumu. James Omondi, thank you for calling. To your question.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Now, I want to thank you very much for this, offering me this time. Now, I want to address 3 areas. Sorry, I want to address 3 areas.
Yeah, go right ahead. And make it brief, please.
Yes. One, when we are saying the grounds have been already raised, it is very true. And it was not raised just because of this election. It was raised because of governance It was raised because of governance from appointments, people now feeling desperate, and election is seen as a finality. Now, a finality raises expectation that if our person sits there, then that's when we are safe. NCIC has not done its work at all, even if you see their composition. They don't know what they should do because they don't consult bodies like the professional bodies, the academia, and even the societies.
All right, I'll request, James, that you be brief. Please get to the point. Number 2 and 3.
Number 2. When you are composing your team in the media, please kindly bring somebody who is level-headed. Mwaura is a novice. You was our student we taught him. Number 3.
Go on. All right, I think that call, we've lost that call. But yes, thank you very much, James Omondi. And wow, if you have your calls coming through, do get them coming through. But at this point in time, we'd like to say goodbye to KTN Home because it's time for Life and Style. But we continue with this debate on KTN News. So those of us watching on KTN Home, it's time to say goodbye. All right, let me come to you, Commissioner, because you have several questions from Onyango Olo and also from the caller there. One of the things that James Omondi says is that NCIC has not done their work at all. And Onyango Olo has also alluded to the fact that, yes, you're saying politicians are the ones who are sounding the drum, but you cannot name them. You cannot name and shame.
Thank you.
What exactly is the job of the NCIC in this, scenario?
The job of the NCIC, number 1, which is actually more than 80%, is reconciling communities. It's not even taking people to court. It's actually bringing communities together, making sure the country is integrated, making sure that communities live together, coexist harmoniously. That is the job of the commission. But it's a bit about taking people to court who may cause violence through their utterances. And ours is ethnic. It is not Olo and Mwaura. No, it is ethnic. It is if Olo talks about a certain community in a way, the language he uses, you can make that community rise up, annoy the community, and rise up against maybe another community. So our work is cut out. It's about ethnic discrimination, ethnic hatred, ethnic, although it has nothing to do with individuals. Like, I cannot touch Mwaura when they are fighting with the law. I can't. That is the work of
but
the
But if they're
DPP.
making statements that are likely to send this country into war, then NCIC needs to come into
Yes,
play.
we do. We do. When those statements are geared towards communities, making the communities feel, yes, now we can arm ourselves and go to war. And we have held people, we have summoned people, and you know it. We have done with the police the Pagani 6. We have, the other day, we have many cases in court, let me say. But the courts take a long time.
Okay.
They take a long time. Let me put it this way. They take a long time. So I've just told you what we are doing is engaging the people now direct. Even as the court cases are going on, we engage them. Because our work is to engage people. It's about dialogue. It's about mediation. It's about reconciliation. So we engage communities. And you'll hear we are in Pokot many times. You'll hear we are in Baragoy. You'll hear we are in Baringo. We are in Nadi, bordering Kisumu. They have their fights. You know, we have go to Kisi, to many places. That is one. The other thing is Chebukati and the political parties. I feel for Chebukati because I don't think the chairman of IEBC has even been given space to execute his duties. We are on him day in, day out. He starts to do this, Kenyans are in court. Before that court case is through, another one is in court. The guy has not been given even time. I wonder whether he sleeps. I wonder whether he sleeps.
Well, he took a job and he must
did
do what
take a
is
job
required.
and he swore to do the job.
Yes,
but
and
I don't think he knew what he was getting into. But
Okay.
he is trying. He's trying. He knew the work he was supposed to do, Olo, but he didn't know you were going to push him like that every day, taking him to court. Today he's in court. Tomorrow he's in court. I mean, surely the guy is in court throughout.
Irene, are you serious?
I am serious. He's in court throughout.
Yes.
Kenyans know. Chebukati is in court throughout. Even as we talk here, there is a case in court. I don't know whether it's one or two. You have not actually given that chairman the moral support that he requires. That's number one. He has not been given the moral support that he requires. He is being hounded out just like the other commissioners.
Onyango, you look mesmerized by what you
I'm not mesmerized because let me say this. It is true. Chebukati must do what he is supposed to do. He must follow the law. But have we even one single time given him the support that he needs?
Now, you
Surely,
know why I'm
surely.
looking shocked? There is what we say in broad social balance or spectrum, that you got into it with your eyes wide open.
I always see him with his eyes open.
Applied for a job amongst hundreds of Kenyans who applied for the job. He was not going to be the first chairman of the IEBC. There was one before him, and there was one before that
There
one
was
before
Kivuito,
him. His job was well spelled out
Yes.
for him. And other than that, we pump billions into that institution. We even have a full-fledged legal department for him. He cannot come to us as an excuse that I'm unable to work because I'm in court. Does he argue the case?
No. He doesn't say.
Madam Irene,
I'm
I'll
saying it
allow
for
you the
him.
chance.
Give him time.
Yes,
Also.
we are not going to
Say.
give him time. We hire for him lawyers.
Yeah.
We have a legal department for him.
You're harassing him.
He got into the
Completely.
job well aware of what it entails. You see, now Irene, who is meant to be an independent arbiter, is talking as an appendage of the government, as a defender of the status
No, I'm
quo.
not defending.
But is
And-
that what she's making? Does it not make sense?
I'm making a point. Give people time to
Irene, let me
do their
talk.
job. Give
Right,
Chebukati
Irene,
time.
allow him to
Okay,
finish. Allow him
say
to
it,
finish.
but I'm not saying he should not be
Thank
attacked.
you.
But
Even if we were to take you there today, Mike, there will be cases that were there before. There will be cases that will be brought in. You should only take that job when you are up to it. He has no excuse for failing to give us the KPMG audit report or saying why he doesn't have the audit report. He has no excuse why he can push on us a single sourcing for the Al Ghurair ballot papers when we have given him procurement officers, ICT managers. We have given him the entire process. If there is no twisting arm of the government or of one side of the political divide. So please, come here and talk on behalf of your organization and don't create excuses
we
for
work
Chebukati.
together. We work together.
And if you work together with Chebukati,
not just Chebukati, many organizations together.
Then
I think
if you allowed me to finish the way I've been allowed.
What I'm saying is very simple.
Let's just allow
I
him
did
to
not
finish, then we can come
actually
back.
finish my questions. I did not finish.
I thought
Mwaura also said I have no moral support to stand here and talk about NCIC because I'm going. Let me tell Kenyans, I am not going anywhere. NCIC is here to stay. We have done our 3 years. They are ending in August. We have another 3 years. And the president of this country has agreed that our contract be renewed. Yeah, so I don't know where Mwaura got that we are going home. We are not.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's good to clear that.
All right. Finish Onyango. I'll make it brief because we also have some callers. Onyango Law, please finish.
It is very unfortunate that Madame Irene, and this is very deliberate, that their terms are created in such a way that when the elections are about to come, they are so desperate that they must defend the government. You see the way she's talking in almost hallowed manner about the president having agreed to renew my term. You are supposed to be independent to summon the president,
but
to
what does the law say?
To summon these politicians
But
if they're
we
sounding
do.
the walls,
But
the
Onyango
drums
Law,
of war.
Onyango Law,
we
it's
do.
a constitutional office. It's not her saying. It is the constitution.
Yes.
It is
And
legally binding.
And it is the president who appointed us.
You know, Irene doesn't allow us to complete our talking, and
Okay.
we'll talk and talk
Okay.
and
Okay,
talk.
let me
Please
solve-
summarize.
Okay, finish.
I want to
finish along.
summarize. I'm saying, you see, it is deliberate that they are given 3 years. But we could appoint those things in such a way that it probably expires a year to the election so that the person holding that office knows that he or she is substantive in that office. Not that her job is coming to an end next week, so he has to please the appointing
All
authority.
right. Let me take a call from Kendago. I'll come to you, Isaac. Kendago from Cabranet. Good morning and thank you for calling.
Good morning to you, my brother, Mheshimiwa Mwaura pamoja na Madam Irene na huyo Holo. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Nimekuwa nikisikiza tangu asubuhi na ninataka niseme ya kwamba I agree with Irene also. Mimi ni mmoja ambaye niliweza kuhudhuria mkutano ambaye akina Irene waliweza kwenda kila kaunti. Na ninataka niseme ya kwamba IEBC they are right also. Wanasiasa wanatumia njia nyingi mpaka watu kutoka kwa ground na wameshaingia ile spirit anasema kwamba election itarikiwa. Tunaona hata kwa court kuna pending cases around 500 ambayo wa primaries. Ni kwa sababu ya ile spirit ambayo kila mtu anasema ya kwamba imerikiwa election. I remember in the year 2002 President alisema ya kwamba KANU wakishinda KANU I will hand over power to Mwangi.
Yeah, unfortunately, we cannot hear Kendago very clearly, but I think he was affirming that you and the commission have been on the ground and you're doing a good job, but that's from him. Let's take another call. Good morning.
Morning.
Yes, go right ahead.
I'm Bishop Sitiene from Cherangani.
Yes, Bishop.
May you allow me to speak in Kiswahili?
Yes, go right ahead.
Mimi nimeshukua sikiliza kabisa kutoka kwa ndugu yangu Bwana Olo. Najaribu kuona kwamba Olo anakwenda kando kidogo kwa kujaribu kushurutisha commissions ambazo tumepewa uhuru wa kujitegemea kufanya uamuzi ya nchi. Wakati anasema hawakuleta chochote bungeni huko kurekebisha sheria. Nashangaa sana, kazi ya bunge ni kungoja watu wapeleke huko sheria za kurekebisha, ama bunge yenyewe inaangalia sheria ambazo haziambatani na haki za nchi. Kwa mfano, wakati bunge ilipofunguliwa walisema kwa miaka 5 walielewa vizuri sana katiba ilikuwa mbaya, ilikuwa haijarekebishika vizuri. Na nikamsikia waziri aliyekuwa waziri mkuu ambaye nampenda sana akasema tuchukue katiba hii na tutairekebisha, bunge irekebishe kwa miaka 5 ihakikishe ya kwamba inafanya kazi vizuri. Wakati Olo anatuambia kwamba sheria ya uchaguzi haisemi chochote kuhusu iwapo tarehe itaanguka, haitapitishwa. Bunge ilikuwa inafanya kazi gani bwana?
Aya. Asante ndugu yangu, Bishop, for that call. And I think he mentioned that some of their offices are constitutionally protected and are approved by Parliament. So really it is not so much to do with the president, but he's just the appointing officer.
Thank you. And that is what I said. In fact, he's supporting me. These are constitutionally protected offices where we expect men and women to act without fear or favor. Nobody's going to touch you, Irene. Act.
Do I look like
Nobody will touch Chebukati. We are supporting you.
I think she was just confirming that she's not going anywhere. Honorable Maura.
I just confirming, actually.
The issue of the appointing authority is by law. And I don't think it would be fair to say that Irene is doing this so that she can be reappointed. The only thing I have a problem with Irene is because she's giving us assurances of things that she's not sure that are going to be implemented because she has no security of tenure other than on Monday after the elections. So I think we should take what she's saying with a pinch of salt. Because why am I saying this? NCIC has failed to prosecute. NCIC seems sometimes to be very lenient on people when they are supposed to be taking action. But on the case of Wafula Chebukati, you know, Mike, I will still insist. Onyango Law may hide under some nebulous regulations of Parliament. I don't think there is anything that precludes us from being called to pass any regulations whatsoever. I think on delegated legislation, you don't have to bring all the regulations back to the House. That is the power that we have under delegated legislation. So the IBC can still go ahead and do so and gazette. That is in order. Number two, the issue of Argurea is in court. We may not want to comment about it, but in terms of the timelines of how you can do a tender, there are various options that I think the direct tendering is within the law. But then assertions around, the family of the president, those are rumors. They are rumors that can never be proved. And even if you would want to Photoshop people or you're trying to juxtapose information around there so that you can justify and you cannot give succinct evidence, it is a systematic way of delegitimating the IEBC, the military, the police, every government institution. And we're asking a very simple question, Mike. If you are doing so, how then are you going to take over government if you are to win? Of course, Jubilee will win, because I believe it is going to win. How are you going to superintend over these institutions of government when you have delegitimated them? It is a systemic way of creating anarchy and thriving in it. And remember very well that the opposition has, and I have been part of it, Onyango was on this other side. That should not be forgotten.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is very interesting. There has been a grand coalition government where it's a Nusu Mkate. And that is what the country is being precipitated towards. You see? And honestly, the ODM elections are not anything to go by if you are to talk about credible elections. So that then you would want to imagine that the opposition side of the equation would teach us some lessons on how to conduct elections. In fact, Onyango Law himself did more credible elections as the Secretary General of TNA than ODM did in the last election. That's why he was rigged.
All right, gentlemen, we need to wind up. But one of the things that I would want us to highlight is the fact that we can have this engagement here. We can argue and everybody can have their point. But what Kenyans don't get to see is that when you walk out of studio, you two will get together. You will walk out and exchange pleasantries and continue with life. But Kenyans are left out there thinking Maura and Olo are enemies. Can you, as we close, let Kenyans know that despite the disagreements that we have, we must live together as Kenyans? Politicians are able to do that, just like we did in school. We'd go to a debate, you would ask the other members of the other team to cross the floor, but it did not become a point of enmity, such that even after we finish this interview this morning, it's not that Onyango Law and Maura are going to walk out as enemies. No. They will walk out as friends.
Yes, first and foremost, I think that's a very important point. But before I respond to that, I think I've not been, Maura has not been understanding me, or I've not been communicating to him. I've not in the least tried to blame Parliament for failing to pass any regulations. I'm blaming IEBC for failing to gazette those regulations. Number one. Number two, Al Ghurair have told you the non-responsiveness of the tender, etc., etc. I am blaming IBC for failing to give us the report of KPMG on the audited results. I'm blaming IEBC for giving us the dead voters 171,000 by their own admission. I am saying all this is a recipe for chaos because it impinges on the integrity of the entire process that is the electoral process, which is the bastion of our democracy. But let it be known to all our viewers that you may differ in terms of ideas and views that you share, but we remain Kenyans and we must hold together as a country. But that is not to say that Kenyans will accept flawed elections just for the sake of peace. We need peace, but we equally need justice.
Honorable Commissioner, maybe your closing comments and maybe assuring Kenyans that NCIC is actually on top of the game and they will execute their duties as required by law.
Thank you very much. I like what Olo has said, that we must remain together as Kenyans. But let me put it this way, that is not what you are, that's not the message that you are sending out there, Olo and Mwaura. That is not the message that you are sending to the Kenyans. The message that you are sending to the Kenyans is like we are at war. And that is why you found the EU coming to Kenya and listening to the politicians, and they are here, and them declaring that this country is not safe. We are going to experience violence. And I can tell you, I think the EU listened to our politicians. It is not the Kenyans, it is the politicians. The messages that they are sending to the common mwananchi, it is we are going to have violence. They are very, very, very bad messages, and I implore, I beg the leadership of this country, I beg the politicians to tone down, because if we fight, let me tell you, war has no discrimination. It will affect ODM people, it will affect Jubilee people, it will affect all of us together. Unless, of course, you have a way of running out of this country and leaving us to burn. And politicians have been known to run away from their countries and leaving their citizens to burn, to kill themselves. Finally, let me say this. National Cohesion and Integration Commission, we have done our very, very best. And you have heard even the people who are calling. We are on the ground. We are talking to the leaders. We are talking to the politicians. We are talking to the youth. And we are telling them this country is one. Please do not be misled by the Olos and the Mwaulas. Do not be misled. Finally, let me say this. We are talking to the women of this country, and the women of this country have come to NCIC, and they have approached me, and they have said, can you fund a one-day prayer at Uhuru Park? And why do we want to pray? The women have told me, all of you have tried to stop whatever is happening. We want to stop it through prayer.
Okay.
The women of this country. And we have funded a Women Peace Prayer Day on Saturday, this Saturday coming. And the women of this country, all women from Onyago's home to Mwaura's home, they will be at Uhuru Park praying for this
peace.
country.
Honorable Mwaura, you need to wind up.
So please, women, come out on Saturday wearing white.
We need to wind up. Honorable Mwaura, your closing comments, and to Kenyans, especially given the fact that you and Onyango Olo will walk out here and continue. But Kenyans sometimes think this is a war.
Yeah.
I think first and foremost, before I come to a message of peace, I still want to answer my brother.
I'll need you to be very brief, Mwaura.
That number one, the KPMG report is public. It was released publicly, and it's available publicly for anybody to interrogate. And I think even it was serialized by newspapers. Number two, the regulations. I mean, IEBC still has time to regulate. and to gazette if at all that is the issue. So we are not time-bound in this regard, because the voter manual, we just passed it some time back in Parliament. But I don't think that it presupposes ill will or ill intention. I think there's a culture, Mike, where you demonize people. We saw that with even Isaac Hassan, with Kivuitu. If at all you feel people are not going your way, we must respect the will of the people. That is important. And Chebukati is on record. He has even been an ODM candidate in the last election. So he's a very neutral person, and we must defend him, if at all, for anything, and give him the benefit of the doubt. But now coming to the issue of peace, I think people must learn that we as politicians must pitch for the side of the political divide that we find ourselves into, as robust as it can be. And a very good example is that when I was in ODM as robust, I used to be called Mtetezi wa Baba. Now Onyango Olo is on that other side, but before this side he was a TNA Secretary General. So this is how politics is supposed to be, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you must not decide that now you must take a machete and fight another. And finally, today we are going to be mobilizing the presidential vote in Embu and Kirinyaga County on Saturday and Sunday.
We'll have to wind
Kindly come out in numbers so that we can ensure that President Uhuru Kenyatta wins this election.
We'll need to wind up right there. We don't want to use this as a campaign platform, but thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That's Vice Chair for NCIC, Commissioner Irene Wanyoike. We also have nominated Member of Parliament, Isaac Maura, and last but not least, Onyango Lo, who is the campaign spokesperson for NASA. And that's the State of the Nation. That's where we end up, State of the Nation. And thank you.